Have you ever had one of those days, or maybe weeks, where you just feel like you're walking through a thick haze? Your thoughts are slow, your memory feels off. It's so frustrating, right? And we usually just brush it off as, oh, I'm stressed, or I guess this is just getting older. But what if that brain fog isn't just in your head? What if it's a very real distress signal from your body? Well, today, we're going to dive in and uncover the real story behind brain fog. It's that feeling of just being out of it. You might walk into a room and forget why you're there, or you struggle to concentrate on a simple task. If any of this is ringing a bell, I want you to know you are not alone. And it is definitely not something you're just making up. These are real, measurable symptoms, and they're pointing to a much deeper issue. Just seeing these symptoms listed out like this, it's validating, isn't it? These aren't just vague feelings. Poor memory, confusion, that crushing fatigue, these are the classic signs that your system is out of balance. And these are the exact clues we're going to follow to get to the root of what's really going on. Okay, so our first major clue leads us straight to something called chronic inflammation. Now, don't think of a swollen ankle. Think of it more like a fire that's just constantly smoldering in the background of your body. It's this low-grade, persistent state of alert that can wreak havoc on everything, especially your brain. And this is where we get to a really powerful idea in functional medicine. Instead of playing whack-a-mole with a dozen different symptoms, the goal is to find that one single root cause that fans out and creates all those problems. And the research is crystal clear. Chronic inflammation is one of the biggest, baddest root causes out there. And look at the kind of damage this smoldering fire can do. We're not just talking about a little bit of joint pain here. We're talking about the heavy hitters. Type 2 diabetes, depression, obesity, and right there in the middle of it all, cognitive decline. All of these seemingly separate conditions can be tied back to that same underlying inflammatory fire. And here's what's really mind-blowing. Even conditions we thought we'd figured out are being completely re-examined through this lens. Take atherosclerosis, or clogged arteries. We used to think of it as a simple plumbing problem, but the science now shows it's really an inflammatory disorder. In medicine, that itis on the end of a word, it literally means inflammation. So it's not just clogged pipes, it's inflamed pipes. That changes everything. All right, let's move on to our second big clue. If inflammation is the fire, then this next piece is the power failure. We're going to go deep inside your cells to look at how you make energy, because this is absolutely critical for a sharp, clear mind. Let me introduce you to your mitochondria. These are the tiny little power plants that live inside almost every single one of your cells. They are working 24/7 to create the energy that your body runs on. And your brain? It is absolutely packed with them. Seriously, without healthy mitochondria, your brain simply cannot do its job. And there is a huge difference between a happy mitochondrion and a dysfunctional one. A healthy one is like a clean, super efficient power plant, but a dysfunctional one, it's like a sputtering, smoke-belching factory. It produces very little energy, which you feel as fatigue, and it spews out all this toxic cellular waste. This waste is called oxidative stress, and it damages the cell and everything around it. So, why does this matter so much for brain fog? Well, your brain is a total energy hog. It uses a massive amount of your body's energy supply. So when your mitochondrial power plants start to fail and you have an energy shortage, your brain is one of the very first places to experience a blackout. And that blackout, that's what you feel as brain fog, memory loss, and fatigue. And now for our third and maybe the most surprising clue of all. It turns out that the road to a foggy brain often starts somewhere you'd never expect, your gut. Yep, there is a direct, high-speed communication line between what's happening in your digestive system and how well your brain is working. This connection is called the gut-brain axis. Think of it like a superhighway with traffic going both ways, 24/7. This constant conversation between your gut and your brain influences everything, your mood, your memory, your emotions. And a key part of that conversation, you guessed it, inflammation. An unhealthy gut can send a flood of inflammatory signals straight up that superhighway, right to your brain. So how does this even happen? Well, things like chronic stress, a diet packed with junk food, and even emotional states like loneliness can actually damage the lining of your gut. This creates a condition called leaky gut, where tiny particles and toxins can escape into your bloodstream, triggering that body-wide systemic inflammation we talked about just a minute ago. And if you need proof of just how powerful this connection is, get this. A study found that loneliness and social isolation can increase the risk of dementia by 31%. To put that in perspective, that is the same risk increase associated with smoking. This just goes to show that loneliness isn't just a feeling, it's a physiological state that can damage your gut, drive inflammation, and directly harm your brain. Wow. Okay, so we've laid out the evidence. The culprits are inflammation, failing mitochondria, and a leaky gut. So now what? What's the solution? Well, let's get to the most empowering part of this whole thing, how we can actively start building a better, clearer brain from the ground up. And this is absolutely crucial to understand. There is no magic pill that can fix this. The only way to address these deep root causes is to give your body the actual raw materials it needs to repair and rebuild itself. The foundation of a healthy brain is, quite literally, what you build it with every single day. And the link between specific nutrients and your brain health is not guesswork. It is direct and scientifically proven. Just look at this. A deficiency in niacin, which is vitamin B3, can actually contribute to dementia. Not having enough B12 can cause nerve damage. Your brain and your entire nervous system are incredibly sensitive to your nutrient levels. These are the literal nuts and bolts for building a healthy mind. So where do we get these all-important building blocks? The blueprint for a brain-healthy plate is actually pretty straightforward. We need quality protein to make our brain chemicals, or neurotransmitters. We need healthy fats because our brain is literally made of fat. We need fiber to feed our good gut bacteria, vitamins and minerals to make everything run smoothly, and those colorful plant compounds called phytonutrients to fight off all that inflammation and damage. Okay, we've gone through the science, we've laid out the strategy. Now, let's put it all together into an actionable toolkit that you can start using today to reclaim your mental clarity. So, what's the path forward? It's about so much more than just food. It is a total lifestyle approach. It starts with that anti-inflammatory diet, for sure. But it also means getting quality sleep, which is when your brain's cleaning crew literally flushes out toxins. It means moving your body, finding ways to manage stress, and, as we saw, nurturing your social connections. Every single one of these actions directly targets those root causes we've been talking about. So let's just end with this thought. That brain fog, that fatigue, that forgetfulness, it is not a personal failing. It's not random. It is information. It's your body communicating with you, telling you, hey, I need some different resources to work properly. The only question is, are you ready to listen?